if there is something that will ever be a consensus price, I can't imagine anything that would be better than this. So in terms of what it changes, it has a potential to change the ground level of a lot of things. Besides the consensus nature of the UTXOracle price, is that it's not paper trading. So prices you see on exchanges can include like a large amount of paper trading prices, which UTXOracle, would never see.
That's what I mean about like being, taken out of of a collateralized loan on a paper trade that wasn't
Yeah.
really ever
Oh,
a
yeah.
consensus price. You know what I mean? Like
Oh.
you fund a bunch of Bitcoin into a contract as collateral, and the Oracle is Coinbase, and Coinbase gets spiked
Yeah.
down way
Because
more than
wow. So
like
somebody's just trading on credit and they're not actually making, and then they can wipe people out on
yeah,
margin when they never even actually
right.
exchanged any Bitcoin.
Right. I mean, that happens. That seems like it happens
Wow.
at least a couple times every cycle, where everyone's like, "Oh my God!" Like, the market maybe was down 7%, but there's a print down 20% on Coinbase or Binance, and it wiped a bunch of people out.
Oh man, thank you for this.
But if it
I'd
was
never
like
thought
the
about that.
consensus price at the end of every day, right? If it was mark to market at the end of every day, instead of it'd probably be, or it was based on the consensus price of that day,
Yeah.
which is kind of the
Yeah.
way like traditional markets work,
Yeah.
because there's a closing price.
Yeah, there's a closing price. I should actually explain how the consensus price is done. I've experimented with a lot of different ways of making averages. There's, as you know, I'm sure, there's a million different ways you can find an average of that data. But then I stumbled across a really natural way to do it. The way this consensus price works now is it looks at every single dot on this chart and it measures its distance to every single other dot. It's
Hmm.
called like a centroid algorithm. So this dot right here is like very far away from all of these dots. So its total average distance from all the dots is a lot. But a dot on this line, it's got a big distance to these dots, but it's got a small distance to all the dots on the line.
Hmm.
So the centroid algorithm just says, tell me which dot has the smallest distance on average to every other dot.
Ah, okay.
So it's much better than doing some kind of algebra, because not only am I sure that this is a very good central price of the data, it's also an actual transaction. So there's no new data. I'm not creating a new number here. I'm using one of the transactions that is already in here. It's a very clean and natural way of doing an average, I think. So
Yeah.
I could every day like congratulate the one person that had ended up being the consensus transaction.
Right.
The
I was gonna say,
price.
you could start like a little gaming
Right.
site.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
guess the consensus price for the day in
Right.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. This person sent $100 at the
Come,
perfect average
yeah,
price of the day.
yeah.
Congrats.
Come pick up your free beer at Crafty.
Yeah, come bring me a craft. Yeah. Um,
Awesome. Wow, this
right.
is really cool. There's going to be some really interesting implications from this.
I think so too. I
I
think
think
so
we
too.
just got to get the right exchanges to say, hey, we want to think like Bitcoiners. We want to have a fair price, like we want to have truth in
Hmm.
pricing. And this is like, if we start setting up contracts based on this consensus price, that's really fits with the Bitcoin ethos, I believe. It's
I
really
love your
cool.
idea of protecting against these liquidation wipeouts with kind
Yeah.
of like basically not real trades.
Right.
That's a great idea. That makes me even more excited. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. I mean, I think it'd be a great way to get people there, right?
Yeah, I
If,
think
if
so.
we
Yeah.
all if we all centered on UTC time, and especially some of the, because this is the first asset that has global 24/7 pricing.
Right.
where you're not jumping from one exchange to the next or one jurisdiction to the next.
Yeah, and people are like, well, do people send around Bitcoin dollars, at 3 a.m. U.S. time? The answer to that is yes. Like I've watched this thing. So on the YouTube thing, if you go to YouTube Live, you can just scroll back on the YouTube window and you can watch what was happening at 3 a.m. And yeah, there's lots of USD prices. It's a little bit lower on Saturday and Sunday. Like surprisingly, there's fewer price points on Saturday than Sunday than there is Wednesday at 3 a.m.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country, with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.